Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. So I am going to record this. I know people will still hop on. Everyone's getting off of work and whatnot. This is going to be pure fire. I freaking love Sheyenne. Like, if I could kidnap her and take her home with me, I would. So I just love her story so much. And the more I get to know her, just the more I just love her so much. And her life is one where I wish I would have done what she did. You know, like I'm older. I'm 36 years old. Presidential diamond from Washington State, but I did this whole career thing for 15 years and all that. I would have not, surprisingly, not have gone that route. I would not have gone to college or anything had I known about this business back in the day. So thank you, Sheyenne, for spending time with us. We have a mix of people in here that won you in some way, just so you know. And then also people that purchased tickets at my try-its that I had done. So it's a good group of people. We're a mix of teams, not just my own. Don't filter at all. Whatever you want to say and what's on your heart, feel free. It is going to be interview style, so we have some questions for you if that is okay. But first, if you want to introduce yourself, I know that most of us know who you are, but just like because of it works, you know, like a quick little thing, that'd be awesome. And let me unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I have you like propped up against a pillow, so I didn't want it to sound like muffled or anything. So hey guys, if y'all do not know who I am, I'm Sheyenne Knox. I'm 21 years old and I'm a presidential diamond. But over the next 60 days, that will change to ambassador. And I'm so excited because guys, there's just so much freaking happening over the next couple of months. And it's crazy because I think in like 4 days. I've been in this business 3 years now. I joined this business as an 18-year-old high school student. 5 months into the business, I went diamond, struggled through, you know, a lot of life, a lot of putting my business on the back burner for 10 months. And I racked in double diamond, right as I was pulling in, you know, the end of my year of my freshman year of college. 3 months later, that summer, I went triple diamond, earned a $15,000 bonus. 3 months after that, I went presidential diamond and earned the $25,000 bonus. And I went to being the youngest presidential diamond in the whole company, which I love to say because I love that. And I'm about to be the youngest ambassador diamond in the whole company too. And I'm just so thankful because this business has not only allowed me to grow up, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally, and age in so many different ways, because this business, I'm sure you've noticed that it forces you to level up in so many ways. I've been able to hit 6-figure savings accounts. Now we're at multiple. I was able to pay cash for my Tahoe. I've been financially independent since I was 18 years old, and it just allows me to live more, save more, and to be able to give more than I think any 21-year-old ever. And just being able to almost start I guess, epidemic of, you know, changing the fact that you don't have to go to college and you don't have to put yourself in, you know, so much debt and live your whole life to make a substantial income. And so I am so excited to be here tonight. Thank you, Miranda, for having me on here. I can't wait to answer questions for y'all, help you, important to you, and just really get you prepared for New Year's.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like out of all 12 months of the year, this is the it time. And I can't stress that importance enough. I've been in the business now for 4.5 years, and it's like right now, or you're going to kick yourself for not doing the things. And that is actually one of the questions is, how are you preparing with your team on our boom season? And maybe if you want to weed in conference with that, because that was the second question.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot. I have a team training once a week, and what we've been doing is just making sure that everyone's prepared. I think that, like we know, a confused mind says no. So if your team doesn't know the direction in which they're going, they're going to stay planted right where they are. So we've been doing charting Zooms. We've been talking about where to place, who to run with, who are your workers that you're going to be charting with, making sure you understand all of your charts, and having all your ducks in a row, making sure that you're organized, that you've got all your scripts saved, all that kinds of stuff, because you don't want to be doing the busy work when it comes to you actually being swamped and busy with the new year. So taking the time to truly get organized, get your goals organized, make your dream boards, just last minute cleaning things is kind of what I explain it to be. And I think that that's so important. So like I said, just those Zooms I've been pouring into my leaders and just letting them know that like the next couple of months is going to be crazy, making sure that they're pouring into themselves and having that super strong mindset as we go into these incredibly wild months, making sure their leadership is, they're being poured into, they're getting that personal development set up, they're watching leadership podcasts, things like that, to make sure that they're ready to go, and just truly pumping up the excitement. I think a lot of our new girls right now on our team that just don't understand what, part of the year they're in, or they're new and they've just never been through boom season, just really hyping up conference, getting them excited, getting them to conference. I think every new distributor, I'm like, hey, I don't want to overwhelm you, but like, see you in Florida in a month. Like, buy your conference ticket, because there's just so much happening, and I'm just trying to amp up the excitement, because I remember, when I struggled in my business for so long and couldn't get my footing after Diamond, December was the month that I turned everything around for my business. It was that month that I decided to get organized, to get my charts out, to, reestablish what I was doing, because it's almost like you get a fresh start at the beginning of the new year. And especially for 2019, it's been a huge growth year for my team. I haven't promoted one time this year, and I'm hungry and I'm so ready to do that. And so making sure that I'm prepared so that I can promote to ambassador in the first 90 days. And whatever goal you have that you're pushing for, you have to make sure that you're organized and that your team is organized. Because if you get in the car with no roadmap, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to break down. You're going to run out of gas, because you're just going to be driving and you don't know exactly which turns you're supposed to take. That's you getting your roadmap done right now, so that when you start new year, you're ready and prepared.
Yeah. My biggest mistake personally is not attending my first conference. I will say that right now. If there was one wish I can get, is like literally everyone to go. Period. It really drug my business back for an entire year. I went as a struggling Ruby after losing my diamond. That same month, I got my diamond back. The month later, I hit double diamond. A few months later, hit Boston for triple, hit another conference, hit triple and Prez. That's conference for you. So whatever you have to do, sell something, charge it, whatever, you have to go to conference if you're wanting the big cheese. I'm going to tell you that right now. So unless you're popping out a baby, that's really the only excuse in my book. You really should go. So this is a very popular question, and it makes sense. You're a top dog. What is your daily non-negotiables no matter what?
So daily non-negotiables, number one is starting my day off with personal development. You have to start your day out on the right side of the bed. And that is pouring into yourself, making sure that you're starting the day positive, because if you start the day on the wrong foot, your whole day is going to be a piece of crap. That's just how it is. So making sure I do a journaling Zoom every single morning at 9 Central. I know that y'all are in a crazy time zone, majority of you. I don't even know what time zone Pacific Standard Time is. Like when I do Zooms with Miranda, I'm like, what time is that? I don't know. But I do that every single morning, where I read devotionals. I talk about constant struggles or things that you're going through, or goal. I mean, literally anything. But I just make sure that I read some form of devotional, do something towards, growing my faith, like things like that. And some of y'all make it on it. I love doing it. And it starts again on January 1st, but there's a couple other leaders that do them as well, but just pouring into yourself early in the morning. And then guys, I think the issue is so many people think that you have to work this business all day long in order to produce results. And that's just not true. The only time that I go hard all day long is when I'm promoting. Every other time, I just get my stuff done and I live my life. That's why we did this business, is to have freedom. And so I do, as a leader, if you're on here and you're a leadership level, it's more of spending time throughout the day, talking to your team, encouraging them, doing coaching calls, making sure the charts are good. But as you're getting, Ruby and Emerald, and you're getting the grasp on Diamond and stuff, it's really just completing your 6 lists and teaching your team to do the same thing. But I make sure I get my messages out. I message people every single day, starting those conversations. I spend a majority of my day interacting. So I love being on social media. We all do. We love scrolling. We love looking at people's lives. I don't want to change that just because I work this business, and I don't want to feel guilty about being on social media, but I work it at all times. There's never something that I'm doing on Instagram that I'm not actually doing something that's income producing. So what I mean by that is I like every single picture. I comment on every single person's post, and you sit there and some people are like, well, that's a lot. Okay, well, it's not, because you comment and you're like, so cute. OMG, I love this. You and your boyfriend are perfect. I love your shirt. Where'd you get it? Just random stuff. Because then when I start posting my cleanse stories and my business stories, these people have talked to me before, and we've built that relationship because they've seen my name. Guys, it goes such a long way. When I enroll new distributors, I've talked to them so much between commenting on their stuff, swiping up on their stories, that when they message me, they know me. We are bros by that point, and they are ready to join the business because they know me and I've talked to them. So interacting is a huge part. I follow a lot And I follow based on things that I love. If you do not like clothes and makeup, you would not follow people that like clothes and makeup. You catch my drift? Like I go to boutiques and I go to, you know, things that relate to who I am. But I have a lot of girls on my team who are super passionate about animals. Like they foster animals. And I don't know how it happened, but there's just like so many of my leaders are like animal lovers. I love animals, but I don't ever talk about them and I don't even have any. So I think that, you know, they follow based on that. People who have animals, like you want to find your groove, and you want to find those 2 or 3 things that you're obsessed with, whether that's you being married or you having kids, or, you know, I had a girl the other day and she's like, I don't even know what it is about me that's special. And something that I've always noticed about her is her words. She's super influential, inspirational, always talking about, you know, uplifting stuff. That's a brand. So I want you to sit down tonight and find 2 or 3 things that you think are who you are and talk about them. And sometimes it's as simple as your children or your husband or things like that, and just talk about it all the time, so that when you're following, when you're interacting, when you're messaging, people are like, oh, like you know, this girl is just like me, or she has a dog, or she has a family. Like that goes a long way. You know, I can't sit here and message moms all day long because I don't relate to them. They'd sit here and be like, well, you know, I have kids, like I can't work this business. And I would just yell because I'm red. And I'm like, yes, you can. Like, I don't understand. So it's just easier that way. And I make sure that I'm pouring into my team. I'm texting my girls, encouraging them. If I notice they've kind of fallen off, like getting them back on the train, you know, getting just, you know, leadership things like behind the scenes and stuff. But other than that, it's just completing your daily list. I mean, I think a lot of people ask this question because they're looking for a secret sauce. There's not a secret sauce, you guys. Every single top leader at the top of the company does the same thing that you're expected to do. I promise you, it's consistency. That's the secret sauce. And if some of you are like, well, whatever, I'm going to go find another top leader that tells me a secret sauce. It's consistency. Every single person's going to tell you that, because I've not done anything differently. Like what it took for me to go presidential was what it took for me to go Ruby. It's just the amount of time that I've invested.
Yep. I remember researching so much in the beginning, and Jade Hooper's my girl. I just love her. Like that. This is why I'm here today, is because of her YouTube. So, and really the thing is like the only secret sauce is the IPAs and doing them consistently. Like, and that's really, it's a system. And if that system is out of whack in any way, and what I'm talking about is messaging, self-development, adding, interacting, and posting. Okay, like you have to do all of them. If you're not, then that is why your enrollments suck, and that is why your paycheck sucks. What would you say to somebody that like just thinks that messaging is bad and they just want people to come to them?
After I roll my eyes, no, kidding. Okay, so this is actually a pretty normal question, because a lot of people just have this stigma that they're annoying. That's all it is. It's not that you don't like messaging. It's not that you don't like the way it is. You think you're annoying, and you have people that are rude to you or say, this is not the way to do it. Guys, this is network marketing. Okay. This is not face-to-face marketing. I can't walk up to somebody and be like, hey girl, like, have you ever heard of It Works? Like this isn't a pop-up shop. Like I'm online right now, and the only way that I can talk to people is by getting into their inbox. Okay. And you don't need to have this whole stigma of messaging is wrong, messaging is stupid. Like, yeah, it's success in numbers, but you have no idea how many people that I have messaged that have ignored me or have been rude to me or have said, no, I'm not interested. And that message was a seed. I don't message for responses. That's what a lot of people do, is they're like, well, no one's responding to my messages or anything. And I'm like, I don't message to get responses. I don't even care if anyone responds, because what are they going to do when you shoot them a message? Go to your profile, because they're like, who is this girl messaging me, right? And that's where everything else that you've done is now going to come into fruition, because they look at my Instagram and they're like, oh, you know, what's this cute picture? Okay, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to read it. And I'm talking about this business. And they're like, well, what business does she do? Then they start scrolling some more, and then they click through my highlights. You catch my drift? You shouldn't be messaging to just mass enroll customers the day you message them. Like, I messaged a girl like 6 or 7 months ago, and she never responded. And then like 2 months ago, she was like, hey girl, like I want to order the cleanse. I've been seeing your post. And then she just joined me last night from me messaging her. She would have never known who I was if I wouldn't have made that first ask. So stop thinking that you're annoying, because I'm going to tell you what, when you message one person, messaged a girl definitely not the other day. It was in February, actually. I messaged her February 1st to be a customer. She ignored it. 7 days later, she messaged me and said, hey girl, I've been seeing your post about the business. I want to join. Joined, and 2 months later, she was a double diamond. 2 months later, she was a double diamond, and I didn't place a single thing underneath her. So you have to understand that you not messaging because you feel like you're annoying is selfish, because you are keeping this opportunity from people who would not know about this business because you're too afraid to send a little simple message.
And who are you messaging? If you want to give like some examples, because people are like, I don't know who to message.
Yeah, so I don't message for distributors. Some people do, some people don't. I find that if I message people for distributors, like they have no idea who I am or what I've even talked about. So when they join, they don't do anything because they're confused as to why they even joined, because they don't even know what they joined. So I like it when people come to me. I find it's easier to message somebody to be a customer and turn it into a distributor than messaging a distributor and turn it into a customer. Like, hey, you can't afford to join, but do you want to buy my products? Like it's just how it is in my head. If you do it, that's totally you. The great thing about this business is we can all work it differently. But I message people to be a customer I message everyone that watches my stories, because they know I always say like, hey, I'm not sure if you've ever seen any of my posts or anything. I know they have because they watch my stories, calling out the elephant in the room without saying anything. And I message them about it. And then I message all of the people that mutually follow me back. I don't message anybody that doesn't follow me back, because I wouldn't know like that. I don't like that, because then people are like, you don't even follow me, dude. And I'm like, I know. But I message people that I follow if it's coming down to like promotion months. But I message people that mutually follow me, because if they don't follow you back, they don't get the notification when you message them. It goes into their request. So that's kind of who I message. And I just go from like the earliest to the latest. And a lot of people ask me if I message people as soon as I follow them. Absolutely not, because I have to interact in between.
Do you message on Facebook also? Because you're talking about IG right now, correct?
I'm talking about, I don't really work Facebook. I do, but I don't do it as much as Instagram. I don't message on Facebook at all. I only message for host to post. So Facebook is really my host to post hub. I put all my posts on there and I go live a lot. I'm a live queen. So I use it for different things. I go Facebook live, host to post, all that kind of stuff. And then Instagram is where I truly just message, because I feel like it's a different playing field. But you have to do what makes you feel comfortable. Yes, you do have to get out of your comfort zone for sure. But I still do both. I don't cancel out anything. I've just never really gotten a super good turnout when I cold message on Facebook rather than on Instagram. So I just use them for different things.
With host to post, are you doing them on both platforms?
Oh yeah. So right now our team has been super, super heavy on Instagram host to post. That's pretty much how I've enrolled like the last 30 distributors is Instagram host to post. I remember trying to do it actually like over a year ago and I couldn't figure it out. And then now it's like the biggest thing for our team. So I think that's super crazy.
Do you want to give an example? I know my personal people are mostly Facebook and they're trying to do IG and they have no idea how to even do host to post through Instagram. If you want to just give like an example.
Yeah, so I actually have a training on my YouTube channel as well. It's called Host to Post with the Greatest Out There, and a lot of my girls talk about it. But basically what we do is we message people and say, hey girl, like I'm not sure if you saw my giveaway this month, but we're doing this. All you have to do is do something super simple for me. And they say, sure. I say, all you have to do is throw this up on your story and tag me in this little black box. And it's a story that says, my friend Cheyenne's looking for people. I can send it to Miranda and she can share it with y'all. But it's just like a little host to post picture graphic that they share, and then they tag me on that thing so it mentions me, and then it also gets people to follow me, click on my profile, stuff like that, and they just message me money from there, and then I just get them entered. It's literally like a 2-second process.
That's awesome. Thank you. And then on Facebook, do you have any limits, or do you just do your Facebook list and just message like that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
So as far as like host to post and like all the stuff I do on Facebook, so I post on Facebook like different times about like my giveaways, or if you want free product, like random stuff like we've always done to get host to post up. And then I just message throughout that. A lot of times I'll follow up with it and just say like, hey girl, like don't know if you saw my $1,000 giveaway this month. Like, do you want me to go ahead and throw you in an entry for Christmas? I just randomly follow up through everyone that I've talked to before. And then I message people based on, sometimes I post stories. I have it like my Instagram's a business account, so I can't post my stories over to Facebook, and I do a lot of swipe up links and stuff, so I just don't. But sometimes when I do, I will message people that had viewed my stories as well.
Yeah, when I'm in promotion month, I definitely do whoever views my stories.
Yeah.
Let's hear one of the questions. How do you follow up without sounding salesy or desperate?
So freaking simple, y'all. When I follow up, I'm like, hey girl, throwing in some orders, want me to throw yours in too? Hey girl, just checking in. Like, I know you told me to check up with you today. I have one spot left for my 40% off discount. Like, do not go off on people in long blabs. Just be like, hey girl, like throwing in an order, just checking in and see if maybe now's a better time. Like, so easy.
That was super easy.
Like
Okay.
literally, and I've never done anything different. And it's like follow-up Fridays are crazy for me because they're like, okay, yeah, sure. Like no big deal. I'll throw it in. If you make it nonchalant, it's nonchalant for them too.
And do you typically enroll them yourself, or are you giving your website up?
I think maybe 2 people I've enrolled in this entire time I've been in the business have enrolled themselves. Like I do it for them. I don't give them an option. I'm just like, hey girl, like just give me your info and I'll place it for you. And if they're weird about it, I'll either call them or now we have shopping cart links where the greatest
I
things ever.
love the shopping cart links. Those are so handy.
Genius.
Let's see here. And then you mentioned the team Zoom. So you have yours. This was another question by somebody. How often you're doing your team Zooms? Did you say once a week?
Yeah, so I do my team Zoom every single Sunday. I do a new distributor training every Thursday, and then my leader Zoom is every Monday night.
I love that. Ignore the kids in the background. If you can go backwards in time, would you change anything? Would you tell your young self anything?
I actually wrote my Instagram post. If y'all follow me on Instagram, I actually wrote a letter to myself back to when I joined. And I talked about how there's literally nothing I would change, that I would tell her all the things that she was wanting happened. Like, that's so crazy you asked that. So I got asked this the other day actually, and there's nothing that I would change. I just wish that I could go back and tell myself to just wait, that all the times that I didn't know if I was cut out for this, or all the times that I was struggling, or, you know, couldn't figure out if this was where I was supposed to be, or the times that I had to make hard decisions like dropping out of school or moving or going for a promotion even though I didn't feel ready, or when people quit, like all those trying times. I wish that I could tell myself then that I needed to just keep going and just persevere because I was meant for this. I think a lot of times through the times that we struggle, we're like, man, I wish I would have done that differently. But I've learned the most about my business in rock bottom through those 10 months that I was maintaining executive as a diamond. Like I was being a horrible leader. I was bulldozing my team. I was, you know, expectations were totally out of line. I was expecting my team to do all these things that I was never doing. It taught me really hard lessons. And as much as I, you know, this year, as I didn't go ambassador and when I wanted to. And I failed so many times and I've missed out on promotions. And, you know, in April, if you would have asked me if I was going ambassador, I would have given you $1 million because I just knew it was going to happen and it wasn't my time. And then it was a lot more frustrating than it is now. And now I'm thankful because I wasn't ready to be an ambassador diamond leader. And so there's so many times that I think we all wish that we could go back and change something. But instead of trying to change where you're at, try to understand the lesson that you're learning, because God doesn't put you through anything that you're not meant to be in. And he's teaching you something, a lesson, maybe that you're struggling with it. Maybe you don't realize. And sometimes it takes you a long time to figure it out. And there's a lot of things over this year that I've had a lot of personal growth in that I wouldn't change anything because that's who I am and that's where I'm at. And that's the things that I've gone through. Like if you sat there and tried to change everything that you made a mistake on, how are you ever supposed to teach your team when they go through it at the same time? Like the same time, like when my team loses rank or they struggle with something or they miss a promotion, I can come from a place of vulnerability and say, hey, I've been there. I missed my promotion, or I lost rank, or I had a, you know, $10,000 check drop. Like I've been through all of that and you're going to make it out on the other side because here I am.
If you want to give an example of a life thing that had happened and how you were able to just push through, because I feel like when they look at us, they're like, oh, well, they just kind of like had it kind of easy or whatever. And that is so not the case. You know, we've gone through some hell, you know, and so if you maybe want to give an example of something you've gone through.
Yeah. So, I recently, like this past like 6 months, I've really started opening up about my story, but I was raised, with my mom, and my mom is a severe alcoholic. We really don't have a good relationship. We don't talk very much. I don't know if any of y'all can relate to that, but I grew up in government housing, guys. I'm not anybody special. Some people look at me and they're like, oh, she's had it made her whole life. And I've never really had it made for me. That's why I do this business and push so hard, is because I know that it is my obligation to make sure that I live the life I deserve, and so does my future family. And so watching my mom go through that and just knowing everything that I know, when I joined this business, we had actually had that was kind of maybe making the transition of me actually moving out on my own, and then going into college. Right after I got to college, my boyfriend of 4 years broke up with me, and then I was also going through the change of that, and then I got a call that my mom was in ICU from alcoholic hepatitis. It was like this whole big thing all at once, and that's when I put my business on the back burner. That's when I maintained executive for 10 months. That's when I was struggling the most through my business. And I realized that like through all of that made me who I am today. And it's through those points that I persevered when most people would have given up. And, you know, there's so many things along the way that have happened with me and my mom's relationship and me and my family's relationship. And when you start making money, people change and, you know, it's been a lot of family issues along the way. But that was probably the most rocky time in my business that I've had to go through. And then, it was probably in August, it was a month before I went presidential. My sister-in-law that I'm super close to got diagnosed with breast cancer and cervical cancer. Now it's brain cancer. Miranda knows, I've posted about her in the Lifers page, and now it's pretty much terminal. So like, we all go through stuff, guys. Like, life is just going to happen, and we can all sit here and go on all day about all the things that have happened to us and all the, life, but it's not necessarily happening to you. It's happening for you, and stuff is going to happen. People are going to pass away. Things are going to happen in your life. And it's not an insensitive thing. It's just to show you that it's going to happen, and it's how you handle it. And having this business here, I've seen, I had a sweet, sweet, sweet human on my team last month. Just a couple of weeks ago, actually, she lost her baby full term. And she was supposed to deliver her the next day. And it was the most devastating thing ever. But watching her come to us and say, like, this is why this business was put into my life, is because not only through this time, it's almost served as a distraction to make sure that I am focusing on things that make me happy and that are going to get me through this. And the friendships that I've had from this business, like, that's the way you have to look at it. And I've said it all the time since I've joined, is every 6 months, things happen in your life that make you thankful for this business. Maybe it's the financials, maybe it's a friendship that this business brought you, maybe it's the products, things like that. But guys, you've got to be thankful for the things that happen to you and understand that, like, it's all going to happen. It's just a matter of when. It's a matter of how you're going to handle it. And it's a matter of how much this business has truly changed your life. And if you don't see it now, you will when things like this happen in your life. Because guys, when things happen in my life and I'm struggling with something, the first people that are there for me are the people I've met through this business.
Oh my gosh, yes. I met my best friend through this business, and so that alone I would have paid like $1 gazillion for. So another question is and I know this has happened, how have you recovered, or how do you go forward when you have someone major, like one of your tops, leave? Like, how do you do that?
Guys, I actually had this realization a few months ago, because for some reason, so when I joined this business, I was redder than freaking red. I had no yellow in me, no nothing. And that's why I bulldozed my team and was like, didn't understand how people didn't have the same mindset as me. And then I started becoming yellow, and now I'm like pretty much all yellow somehow. But I became best friends with everyone on my team, and I stopped leading them. And I just became so close to people that when they started going through issues and they decided this business wasn't for them, I took it personal. And it was so hard, because I'd sit here and tell my team, like, guys, you got to pray them in, pray them out. But when you actually have to pray them out, it's like, you don't really pray them out, because you don't want to let them go. And so, I mean, I've lost doubles, guys. I've lost triples. I've lost people that would have been ambassador. Like, I've lost some people I never thought would have quit my business. But it's the people that come in later that you're just like, okay, like, this is it. This is it. And I was talking to another leader the other day, and she was like, it sucks when they tell you all the time to ask your team, like, are you in or you're out? Like, you have to be prepared for the people that say they're out, and just understand that, guys, people come in for this business for seasons. I had a girl join my team, and she killed it and made so much money right off the bat. And then she just pieced out and was like, I came in this business for it to do this thing, and it did this thing. And now I feel like I'm called in a different area. And that's okay. And you have to be okay with that, because God's going to bring people into your business for this amount of time. And you have to be okay to find those people that are going to be in your business for the rest of time. And I know sometimes it's kind of like that picture where God has the little small teddy bear and he's taking it from you, and the little kid's like super upset, but he has a massive teddy bear behind him. You've got to see the bigger blessings, and sometimes the harder times it is to see when he takes away those smaller things from you too. But you're going to lose people. But you have to know that along the way, you're going to find your lifers, and you're going to find those people that are going to be the next ambassadors. And you may have this person on their team that you're like, oh my gosh, but they're an emerald, they're going to be diamond. And then 6 months down from the road, you enroll the next Miranda or the next Cheyenne, and they just take off, and they're, your presidential for your ambassador.
Yeah. I mean, we've all had hard hits, and I am so yellow. Like, it was really hard to not take it personal, like when you pour someone into somebody, but again, it's not us, it's them and their season in their life. So I can definitely tell that self-development is like there. Do you have any favorites, like any favorite books or anything that you might want to recommend to everyone?
So I always never know how to answer this question, because there's so many things that are different about every single person when it comes to reading. Like, I think obviously, like, basic ones, if you are not super into personal development, is like Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing, You Are a Badass, like little basic things like that. But if you're super green, me and Mira were talking about this yesterday. If you're super green, you're not going to really love books that like fire you up and make you super passionate, because if you're green, you're trying to figure out the details on how to get to the passionate part, or trying to figure out how to get to that, you know, super fire moment that they're pushing you to get to. Like there's a lot of different things that make us different about what excites us the most. And I've always said, if you start reading a book or listening to an audiobook and you can't get into it because it doesn't relate to you, it's not that you don't need it at all. It's that you don't need it in this season of your life. And so go sit down and kind of have some self-analyzing time for you to realize what you feel like you're lacking, whether that is confidence or motivation, which motivation is garbage. And there's a book about motivation being garbage, like just things like that, that you feel like personally you're struggling with, and go find a book specifically on that. If I sat here and told you to read Secrets of a Millionaire Mind that changed my whole perspective on money because I grew up without it, you maybe didn't grow up without money, or you maybe don't care and you're like, give me all the money. Like it took me a while to get to that point, but it may not even affect you in the same way. You know, right now I'm starting to read the Success Commandments, and you may not need that. You get what I'm saying? Like you need to find what you feel like you're lacking and go find a book, like literally Google confidence and read the first book that comes up, because I guarantee if you feel like you're lacking something, any book that's filling that part of your soul is going to make everything different for you.
Yes, yes, and yes. And something I discovered recently, and maybe this will help someone out there, is I was buying a ridiculous amount of books, you know, and then again, like it might not fit me during that season. I'm like, okay, I don't really like this book, and I just spent this much. Your local library will probably have free audibles, just so you know. Like I started downloading like Kindle and all these things, and they were limiting me, and I'm like, I don't like limits, you know. And then I'm like, wait a minute, the public library, I wonder if they, you know, and sure enough, there are free audibles that I got directly through the library. I'm so excited. But it definitely deals with like it's your color. And so like I'm half yellow, half red. So I'm reading Relentless on one side, which is pure red. And then I've got The Last Arrow, which is like all yellow. And so it really is whatever fits you, but try to go a little cheap here and just use your library. There are some questions in the chat if you want to get some of those.
Yeah. Journal Zooms will start back January 1st. So I just kind of took off with Christmas and traveling, and I travel all the time, that I'm like super inconsistent at the end of the year. So January 1st at 9 a.m. they'll start again. When you post about a product, do you always post a picture with the post? I post a picture of either me with the product or like a super beautiful picture of the product. I really don't, I never post product posts on my Instagram. I post them all on my story, but on Facebook, I'll post like a picture of me with the coffee mug or a picture of me holding the cleanse. I try to stay away from just pictures of the products because they ruin my interaction, and then people don't see my stuff anyways. Best way to stay consistent for people who work full-time or are full-time students. Consistency, guys, is it's just a decision. You know, it's not something that you're just going to be so easy and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so consistent. Wow. No, like it's a habit. Like it's, you know, everything, and I'm doing a Zoom about this to my team, like everything comes down to your habits. You can do all these things and want all these things, but if you sit here and you're like, I'm working so hard and you're not getting any results, it's the habits that you're doing. Like, are you sitting here scrolling thinking you're working hard, or are you messaging like 10 people an hour thinking you're working hard? Like, what are your habits that you're doing? Because that's going to make your consistency come into play. And if, you know, that's more of a time management thing, like I hate when people are like, well, I'm a student, I'm too busy. No, you're not. Like, that's so bogus. Like, you can work this business in an hour a day. And I think that's why it's so frustrating for me, is because I'm so young and my whole team is young, and they're like, well, I work full time and I have a job. And I'm like, okay. And like, there's no other business like this that you can literally wake up, lay in bed for 10 minutes, throw up a post for the day, throw up stuff on your story, copy and paste some stuff. Like, so simple. So stay consistent by just making a decision of what your habits are like. Do you set working hours so you don't feel like you're on your phone 24/7? No, I don't like setting boundaries on myself or limitations of when I should be working. I also don't really like power hours either. Like, if I have 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, I respond to a message here, like I do it all throughout the day on my own pace, but I'm not one to sit there and say like, okay, I work my business at lunch at this time and for 30 minutes here. Like, that's just not how I work. Some people need that, but I don't. I just literally do it as I'm needed in different ways. And I just make sure I get my work done before I go to bed. Best way to keep doing productive work and not get caught up too much in managing the team. That's where layered leadership comes in, guys. There's a lot of people on my team that I literally just encourage, because those Zooms and those trainings and those coaching calls and stuff have layered down within my team to where I don't get caught doing like managing stuff. Like, I go to people and I'm like, hey, like, how are you doing? Like, if you need anything from me, like, plus I've set that culture within my team that they know any waking moment, any hour of the day, they can pop into my messenger and I'm going to help them and respond. I'm not the kind of leader that stays on people. They can stay on me and they can message me all day long if they want to, but I'm not going to sit here and message you every other day and ask you how you're doing. That's just not how I am. Best way to keep, oh wait, I just answered that. Do you promote posts on Instagram? I do not. I just make sure that I'm doing heavy interaction, following, getting on people's Instagrams, commenting on their stuff, swiping up on their stuff so that people are constantly coming to my page. I feel like I don't have to do endorsements if I'm working my business, because therefore I'm working and I'm talking to more people and I'm getting out there and following and getting constant traffic on my page that I don't feel like I would need to sponsor a post. Suggestions for devotional. So my favorite one that I read on Journaling Zoom every morning is 100 Days to Brave, and then Jesus Calling devotional. I got it at Walmart for like $9, but really there's any devotionals that are going to be good. I think the Joyce Meyer one is super popular. Jesus Calling is one that I see everyone really talking about, but 100 Days to Brave is a super awesome devotional that I'm like obsessed with. I ordered it off Amazon because it was super cute, and then I just kept reading it. But I think that's all the questions in the chat.
Would you mind sharing some things on your vision board?
Yeah. So I want to go ambassador within the first 90 days of 2020. I want to buy land next year because my goal is to build my own house, but I'm just doing it in sections. I want to invest another 6 figures because I'm trying to live my life backwards and be super rich 60 years down the road. And because I got the chance to start early, I just want to invest everything. I want to, I'm going to say it quietly because I'm with my dad, but I want to pay off his house that he's building. He just doesn't know it yet. Just so many things. I don't have my dream board with me, but I want to see a $66,000 paycheck next year. And I was talking to a bunch of other people and they were like, I want to see like $400,000 this year on a paycheck. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to up that. But I had a dream that I got a $66,000 paycheck and I just feel it in my bones that it's going to happen next year. And I want to take our team top 20 by the next year's conference. So those are just a couple.
I love it.
Oh, and I will not miss another leadership retreat ever. So that's that.
I know. I was having the worst FOMO. I think I was probably the greatest stalker out of all their pages. I was like Instagram, Facebook.
Oh yeah, I had to stop looking. It was hard.
Any last questions before we let Miss Sheyenne go? This was awesome. I could listen to her all day, every day. Her journaling Zoom in the mornings when they do start, I highly encourage you guys to hop on them. I've been on quite a few of them now, and they're fire. And it's just such a good way to wake up and just fuel your soul, fuel yourself with just that positivity, because we live in a very negative world. Let's get real. You're going to get it on Facebook. I mean, right now it's all politics. It's like, oh gosh, you're going to see it everywhere. And why not start the day right? It looks like, yeah. Can I come? Yes. Anyone can be on her journaling Zoom. She opens it up, for everybody, which is just so awesome. And it just fuels your soul. So, what is your main response when someone says they cannot afford to start as a distributor?
Let me know when you've got the money. I'm like, you can come up with $99 to go out every single night, to go shopping, to pay for your tattoos, to pay, like, I don't figure it out. I had 20 cents in my bank account and I sold some stuff. My dad paid for it. I've seen people sell their TVs, $99. Go find it. Let me know.
I also think that how you're wording it to begin with, it says a lot. Mm-hmm. I word it now. I'm like, well, it used to be $300. It's super cheap now. It's only $99. With it, you get $150 in goodies plus your business license for the entire year. Versus
voice messages instead of
it's $99. So your wording, it does make a difference.
Yeah. And how confident you are in it too. Like, guys, $99 to start this business is stupid cheap. Like, there are so many other companies that are like $600 or $1,000, like $99. Are you joking me? And you get $150 in your kit worth of product, and you get $100 shopping spree. Like, come on now. And it's all about the value that you add with it. But I started sending it in a voice message instead of typing it out in text. And I'm just like, hey girl, like, oh my gosh. So you get a special deal. If you join me today, it's only $99. You're going to get $150 worth of free products. So you're basically getting these products for like so cheap, and you're getting all of my personal training. You get into our team page and unlocks everything you need to be successful. And it's literally $99, like so freaking cheap. That's all. I mean, you're just excited. But if you sit there and you're like, it's $99, I know that's a lot, but if you can like save up and figure out, like if you're panicking about it and you feel like it's a lot, they're going to reciprocate that and feel the energy as well.
Yep. I didn't pay my cell phone bill. Like, I mean, it's straight up, if they want it, they want it, you know? And what you don't want to happen is somebody that doesn't want it all the way, and you're like trying to coerce them to go do it, and then they're just not going to do anything. They're going to be the one not opening the ticket. So it looks like that is it. Sheyenne, you're just amazing. You're just an amazing soul. I just bless your heart for taking the time. You know, like whenever a top leader does this, you guys, like they don't have to. They don't get paid for it. It's taking time out of their day, but it's because they want to help others, and that just says a lot about a person. So thank you so much for spending time with us. I know it's 2 hours ahead.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And I will get this over to my YouTube if you need the recording. So, Miranda, yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.